Celtic in 2022 according to Football Manager 2017. Celtic are dominating Scottish football right now after an incredible invincible season orchestrated by Brendan Rodgers. Well, according to Football Manager, that dominance is going to continue. In every season, the Hoops have won the domestic treble, which means they've won a startling 11 league titles in a row, keeping Rangers and everyone else at arm's length. So the trophies are still flooding in at Celtic Park, but there's been one change. Brendan Rodgers left the club in the summer of 2020, with Alex Neil now occupying the dugout at Parkhead. His first job in Scotland after leaving Hamilton back in 2015. So we're 4 games deep into Celtic's latest title defence, let's look at how they're lining up. In goal it's Manuel Riemann. The 33-year-old German has the rather pedestrian job of keeping net at Celtic, standing on the pitch for 90 minutes not having to do anything, maybe making a few sandwiches to pass the time. He arrived in the year 2020 for £2.1 million from Bochum, replacing Craig Gordon who retired that summer. The Scottish keeper has now moved into coaching and is waiting for his first job. At right back is Angel KIROV. Our first regen, the 20-year-old is on loan at Celtic Park from Inter Milan, having also had temporary spells at AZ Alkmaar and Udinese. The Bulgarian is hardly shining so far in green and white, averaging a bleak 6.38 after his first 4 games. The youngster has been brought in to replace Mikael Lustig, who has literally just been sold to Sporting Gijón for a minimal £150,000. Even though he was 35, maybe Alex Neil should have kept hold of the Swede. Centre back is Falaye Cisse. Another regen and another loanee, Cisse is on loan from Spanish side Sevilla. The 23-year-old looks to be a promising defender, so it's unlikely they'll be able to keep him. However, there is a distinct lack of competition at the back for Celtic, with Sviatchenko playing for Dynamo Kiev, Simunovic at Wolves and Dedrick Boyata with Birmingham. Next up is Andreas Bjelland. Christ, his name is frighteningly close to Bellend. That must have been difficult at school. Although he's Danish, so there probably weren't many English toe rags bullying him in the classroom. The centre-back is 34 and moved to Celtic in 2019 and has had a storming start to the Scottish Premiership season, averaging 7.9. Left back is Greg Cunningham. If you thought Bjelland's average was impressive, Greg Cunningham is doing even better, with an 8.1 rating for the opening 4 games. The Irishman has been impressive ever since joining in 2019, and he didn't even cost a penny, arriving after his contract expired at Preston. I assume you'll want to know where Kieran Tierney is. Simple answer, I don't know. He's disappeared off the game. We're all very concerned. Moving on, centre mid is Callum McGregor. In 2022, Callum McGregor still probably won't be the most famous McGregor in sport, unless Floyd Mayweather beats the career out of the gobby Irishman later this summer. Back to the football though, McGregor is the longest serving player in this team so far, but despite his longevity at Celtic Park, is still donning the number 42 on his back. You'd like to think by the age of 29 he'd have a better squad number than that. He's alongside Rolando MANDRAGORA. The Italian midfielder is billed as the key player at Celtic Park right now, with the 25-year-old costing £3.4 million from Atletico Madrid. In fact, he's performing so well that Atletico Madrid want to sign him back. Out of Celtic's 2017 midfielders, Scott Brown was released in 2020 and tried his hand at the English game, spending 2 years at Leyton Orient before retirement. Near beat honours with Shakhtar Donetsk, and Tom Rogic is playing for Galatasaray. On the right of midfield is Andrew SLEIGHT. Our third and final regen in this side, 20-year-old Andrew SLEIGHT appears to be Celtic's brightest young star, having actually made his debut 3 years earlier at the age of just 17. Born in the year 2001, Christ that's scary, SLEIGHT's pace is terrifying Scottish defences, but he could be heading to England soon, with Newcastle and Bournemouth keen on the winger. James Forrest used to be the bright young star at Celtic Park, but he's long gone. Forrest joined Millwall after his release, but is back in Scotland playing for Dundee. Left of midfield is RICARDO HORTA. If this was Football Manager 2015 or 16, RICARDO HORTA would be quite the prospect to have in your team, a player with incredible potential and often a must-sign player. However, that doesn't seem to be the case on this edition of the game, because HORTA is nothing special in 2022. He arrived on a free last year after his Malaga contract expired, and has so far scored 2 goals and provided 4 assists, which is nothing to write home about. To be fair though, I can't imagine the Portuguese winger is too accustomed to the wet and miserable Scottish weather. Attacking midfield is Steven Bergwijn. Remember that guy who joined Watford in 2015? Yeah, this is him. Berkouille is now 30 years old on Football Manager, and Celtic paid £1.5 million to bring him to Parkhead. During his first season in Scotland, Berkouille provided an impressive 12 assists for what is his 10th club, having previously played for Lazio, Lille, Fenerbahce, Feyenoord, Watford, AZ Alkmaar, VVV Venlo, FC Twente and Go Ahead Eagles. And up front it's Leigh Griffiths. The 32-year-old is back to being the main source of goals for Celtic after Moussa Dembele headed to Southampton, hitting double figures every season, finding the net 22 times in the 2021-22 campaign. And as Celtic begin their latest title defence, Griffiths has already scored 6 goals in 4 games. Good to see the man's continued where he left off after embarrassing Joe Hart. So that's Celtic in 2022 according to Football Manager 2017. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And check out our newest channel, HITC 7s, the new home of football lists, looking at the 7 best, worst, funniest and weirdest moments from football's past and present.